taste of a full pint.
Back to the normal, yeah.
But it's like, it's wild fermentation, but it's an IPA as well.
So my name's Grace, I work at Wild Beer Co here in Bristol. When it comes to choice, we definitely have more choice over the last 5 years.
It's the social aspect of drinking that I think I enjoy the most. Yeah, just, getting around with your mates at the pub, a few nice cold beers, can't beat it.
I always stick to the craft ales and the craft ciders and stuff like that because it is something a bit different. It's expanded the experience of rather than just going in and drinking the same thing, there's more stuff to try and it does open up your options and it's something a bit different and you kind of said that you can have the smaller the sizes of it and you are more appreciating what you're drinking rather than just being there, just a pint.
It's different to what's usually brewed. You get stuff like this, which is sort of tropical flavoured.
Try some new flavours, you might get lucky, you might find something that you really like and, want to have again sometime.
One of the reasons I think craft beer's become a big thing, especially in Bristol in the past few years or so, is because of independent breweries.
You get more of a connection to the product. I think people are more interested about where things come from and how they're made.
Our specialties are our Night Ride, which is our cold brew stout, our African Mango in orange, and our latest haze. So they're now becoming our specials, even though they're kind of the core range. We'll brew them all year round. It's just they are our specials.
We've got all our water in there, and then this is all the grain bill, so that'll all go in and to sit in 69 degrees in the mash, and that's where it all starts.
Different malts will give off different flavours. We have darker roasts to add different colours. So the majority of our grain bill will be a pale malt, which will add next to no colour. And then today we're using Cara malt, which will add a little bit more colour here and there. So these are cryo hops. They're kind of the new way of hopping at the moment.
Monetary-wise, me and Callum had hardly any money to start off, literally a couple of thousand. So we managed to purchase a 5 brewers barrel kit very cheap. Most people who start a brewery these days have, a set amount, or they crowdfunded so they can buy nice stainless steel kit. We didn't have that luxury. So everything here we've had to build ourselves, write our own instruction manuals, like Scrap Eat Challenge really. So yeah, everything here is very artisan. That is from one of our brewers. Paul loves that word. So yes, we're an artisan brewery. Everything we do is hand barreled in, out, labour intensive, but it just means we can affect the beer from every purpose. So it means we are very hands-on, we're very crafty. That is a result purely because of the limited cash we had to start off with. So efficient, basically we've built a giant homebrew kit.
In an hour, once all of the sugars have been taken out of this, we'll pass hot water through the mash just to make sure we take all of the sugars into the kettle.
We brew up to about 1,800 litres a time. That gives us the best quality liquid we can produce, and it's manageable with our kit we have.
That is cool. It never gets boring. It never gets old.
Throughout the brewing stage, we get samples of the wort and just measure it to see roughly how much specific gravity we have in the kettle, so we can monitor it all the way through the brews.
So after we've boiled for 60 minutes, we transfer from the kettle through the heat exchanger into our FE. So the purpose of the heat exchanger is to bring the temperature down to 19 degrees. So the beer will go through one side at 100 degrees and come out at 19, and that's what we'll keep the beer at for the next 4 days during fermentation. For me, you're always trying to make the better liquid you physically and possibly can on the kit you've got. So for me, it's constantly improving, constantly striving to do different recipes, adapting the new science to the kit if you can. Yeah, just constantly evolving is the key for me. Everyone likes going back to the producer, a smaller producer, an independent producer, and most craft ales and craft breweries now are smaller, are independent. So you get that human factor, I believe, into it. It's more artisan. It seems to be like a family owned or a friendship owned, or so people really buy into the people who work into it. And I think that's is one of the factors why craft ales and beers have just taken off. You just look at the bigger boys now buying the smaller breweries, and that's because they want that share of the craft market, because they can't factor that, they can't event that. So for me, it's a compliment to us smaller guys upping our standards, our qualities, and the ethoses around it all.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Moores Brewery, we are 12 years old this year. So last year we produced over 6,500 hectolitres. We produce modern real ales. We tend to look towards the past for that rich brewing heritage of the UK. The beer that we make, from every brew that we do, we rack it into 3 different formats. So we do it into casks, into kegs, and into cans. We bought ourselves a canning line. They're obviously more environmentally friendly. There's less breakages in handling, so easier for transporting around the country.
So all the beer is kept in the FBs. Just that one over there on the far side, number 8. Goes into the can line. We get the empty cans that come in from outside. We move them up via that little crane contraption there. Basically it's a vacuum. There is a sticker, sort of reel-to-reel machine, which attaches stickers to the can. That all slides down that chute, goes into the canning line. This whole filling thing fills it with beer. That goes through there, puts the caps on.
The cans themselves are hermetically sealed, so there's no sort of chance of oxidisation.
Small Brewers Relief was a government initiative that was designed to give 50% beer duty relief to brewers that were below 5,000 hectoliters. So basically, it allows small businesses to start up without having the huge tax burden.
Small Brewers Relief, it will give us 50% savings compared to the higher volume brewers. So it gives us economies of scale under the 5,000 hectolitres. For us, it's huge because it gives us that bit of breathing space with the 50% duty for us to grow in the correct way on the scale. So in a nutshell, it gives us smaller guys a fighting chance against the bigger boys. The people above it are trying to get rid of Small Brewers Relief because they believe that our economies of scale are just the same as theirs, and they believe it's an unfair advantage. And then you flip it round from the smaller guys, and we feel that we should have the Small Brewers Relief because it puts us on a level playing field with the brewers over that duty.
It's not a small amount of money, and it is something that is critical. I mean, we wouldn't have 2,000 breweries today if we didn't have Small Brewers Relief. So if it was taken away, I would say a good more than 50% of the breweries would probably shut overnight.
But that's unbelievable. That's that amount that would be affected by it. You think that when they bring this sort of thing in, you're either one side of it or not. You know, I would like to think that there's more breweries in Bristol that are already successful enough that this will not affect them, but I could literally off the top of my head think that most of them are actually in that middle ground where they're sort of they've got successful, they've now got the opportunity to maybe upscale their business and make that extra money, but they're going to have to spend to be able to do that.
I think it's a real shame that we could be losing sort of these smaller independent breweries because of tax reform and so on from the government. I think they're definitely not for everyone, but I think they're a really special part of the beer drinking community in the UK. I think it'd be a real shame.
If half the breweries in the UK decided to shut down because of legislation that's coming in, I think it's a shame because it helps the local community, people are buying local, but also people have a sense of pride in where they live. And so if they can drink something that's from down the road, there's a great sense of pride in that way. You know, you're in a place that you're proud to be in and you're drinking something that's from there. And it tastes better than the mainstream stuff. Do you know what I mean? There's a sense of pride that goes along with that. And I think once you start removing that away, everything becomes more corporate, everything becomes more commercial. And you start to kill the whole reason bars start existing in the first place. It's a place for people to come together and be drinking together. And if you manage to stream like that into some corporate thing, you kill it. You have to have the local breweries. You have to have that sort of stuff to keep it interesting and to keep other people on their toes. And I don't know. That's